We're live. We did it.
Hey.
Success every week. You never know. But we are, I mean, usually it works. I'm just very pessimistic. Most people would say we have a very 100% pretty much success rate of being here Monday nights as we are this Monday night. So we did it. Congratulations, everyone. Another successful beginning anyway. Debbie, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. David, how are you?
Awesome. I've
Ready
got
to talk
my
about
festive shirts on.
Oh, I love that shirt.
I'll be showcasing a festive shirt every week.
He's got a package for you.
Until after Christmas.
Well, so that's one more week?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, so I'm looking forward to it. This week, we're talking about episode 4 of Hawkeye. And that's the main thing we're talking. There's not too much going on other than the fact that Spider-Man comes out this week, but there's not much more we can add to that other than we're all going to go see it and then talk about it next week. So yay, but not a whole lot else going on other than the things we've been anticipating for, years. And, Hawkeye. So, Hawkeye. Poor Hawkeye.
With this collar on, my superpower is just
unbridled cancer. Give me a bow and arrow, I'm basically Hawkeye.
He suffers so much abuse. But the show's been pretty enjoyable so far, even though I would say this episode left me feeling like it was a little bit of a filler. But you guys can tell me I'm a fool or agree with me right after this wonderful theme song.
Theme song guy.
oh yeah!
Woo! Here we are. Talking about Hawkeye. I hope you've been watching the show because spoilers abound. When we left Hawkeye at the end of the last episode, he was at the sword's point of the swordsman, and I was like, they're about to do battle, and they just complain in the first second. They're like, no, well, let's hang out. You're Archer. I know this guy's a bad guy, and I don't even bring up Zemo dancing. It's just there's something charming about this guy, even though I know he really is. But when he's kind of charmingly befuddled, it's like, is this an act? Is this all just an act? And he's actually, because they're he's the head of this evil corporation that's funneling money for some guy. So anyway, what'd you think of the swordsman? What'd you think of that opening interaction too with her mother and Hawkeye? Oh, there's an Avenger in the living room.
It was kind of awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody was very comfortable.
and there was a straight lie to her face. Like, what are you guys doing here? We're using the bathroom. Someone tried to log into my computer. All right, so we logged into your computer. You didn't even try to keep that lie going.
The whole bit too with her looking at her mom and her mom, they you said Zemo dancing. He was dancing.
Right,
he danced. Did dance. They did dance. But
I found that part actually just even more creepy. I was like, she's right there. You know that you're like her stepdad that she didn't even know was coming into the picture when the show started. And now you're just like, I'm going to make out with your mom. Ooh, in front of you.
I don't know what was creepier, that or the fact that she was laughing at all of it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you this happy. It's like,
I've never seen you like this. That's because they're getting towards doing the type of stuff that made you. And you shouldn't be around for that. That's not, yeah. Oh, I've never seen you like this with your loins aflame. Yes, that's a weird thing for children to be seeing in their parents. You wait for the children to go to bed to start that nonsense up. I don't know. Yeah. So that was a little weird. I thought there was going to be some sort of actual fight between them or something. There was nothing. They're just like, no,
Oh, hey.
And he gets the sword. He gets the sword back. Yeah, that's what he had his coat over. I'll get my coat,
Yeah.
and then he has it on the elevator. He puts it away. So he got his sword back.
So but nothing came of that. I mean, the guy stole the sword from the auction, and you would think that would be like a big deal to him, and then he just let him walk out with it.
And I'm pretty sure that is like actually the sword that he threatens him with.
Yeah, I think it was too.
And then he sits it down by that, right? And then he sits it down. I just rewatched the episode. It's leaning up against, and Clint sees it leaning up against the thing. And then when he goes to get his coat, when he leaves, I guess he picks it up, but that's not shown. It just the next shows him putting the handle away when he gets on the elevator. So that
it retracts into the handle.
Was ridiculous. I was like, what? Also, the whole way that sword works. I'm just gonna say, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna call it. It's Ant-Man technology. All right, because there's no other way. Oh, it's retracting. No,
it's the Home Alone syndrome, the suspension of belief.
Well, that's the other thing. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm suspending my belief by using the fictional science of their world to explain away something that just looks dumb if I think about it for even a second. I was like, you know that lightsabers are cool, and you wanted to try and jump on that train, but no. I mean,
it's
just do an actual lightsaber, which you could now because Disney owns both of you. You can do that. See, Free Guy, you can do whatever you want. Throw it all together. He was using Captain America's shield. He's using a lightsaber. It was fantastic. But anyway, so anyway, he got the weird sword back. Now, a lot of people I've seen in memes and different stuff have been complaining about how the mother talked to him about Natasha. They're like, how dare she belittle her sacrifice, blah, blah, blah. To which I get where they're coming from because everyone loves Natasha and it was a big sacrifice and a big deal. But I don't think she's actually like belittling the sacrifice at all. She's just bringing up the point that in this job, people die. Natasha was the best and she's still dead. And I don't want my daughter, who, as good as she is, not, a superhero. I think that's the main point that she's trying to make. And I think she does it pretty effectively. And I don't think it's like,
still was a little bit of a jab. And just by the look on her face.
We don't know how many people know exactly what the circumstances of her death were. They just know that she's dead now. You know what I mean? Like, how many people know that on Vormir she sacrificed her life? Maybe people know that she died fighting, but I don't know how public that knowledge is. But anyway, the point is, she did die doing this work. So the mother doesn't want that to happen to her daughter. Now, after that, she makes a phone call that's never explained who it's to. Do you remember that?
She says,
we need to talk.
Yeah.
Who is she talking to? Mephisto?
No. Wilson Fisk.
Oh, right. The Mephisto of this show.
No. I think it was Valentina or whatever her name is. Lady Hydra.
Lady Hydra?
Lady Hydra, you think? Oh, that could be. Yeah, because that actually could make sense. Although then again, Lady Hydra is the one who told Yelena about Clint and kind of sent her, spoiler alert, and the episode, skipping ahead a little bit, but yeah. About the fake Black Widow past family. She never had a family. She had us. And now it's like, well, also this actual family that's not a family. Yet again, that was just a cover. Oh, good to have family back together again. What is it? A cover, or are you actually all right? Whatever. They're deep cover.
It's the multiverse. That's that explains. It's the multiverse.
Captain Russia. They just say whatever they want now. Okay. So she calls somebody. Lady Hydra, I like that. I think a lot of people are Wilson Fisk is the quick answer that a lot of people are going for, but I never thought of that, so could be interesting. After that, she kind of gets Kate Bishop is listening to like, oh, it's when Jack's getting all those sayings wrong. And he's like, well, I guess it's better to be laughed at with family than to be alone on the holidays. And she's like, oh, Clint's alone. So then we see Clint icing himself with like margarita mixes. And she shows up with pizza and they have some bonding. He teaches her how to flick a...
They have a montage.
They had
a
montage. Oh. Yeah, it was montage. They literally did. They poured the drinks. I'm thinking about it. They showed it was a montage. Absolutely. They did. They had a nice little montage there. Christmas movies, you're supposed to be doing that with your kids, but you can do it with me. Tell me about Natasha. It's the shot I didn't take. Because he was like supposed to kill her and he didn't. Yay.
Can I
And then
backtrack?
she finds out. What's that? Yeah. Go ahead.
He calls his wife.
Oh, yeah.
And
she's been doing some
oh, wait a minute, because there was something important with that wife phone call.
Well, she's been doing some research for him.
Yeah.
She tells him that it's the tracksuits, and she says that Jack is the CEO of the business that's funneling or laundering money for them. So he's in deep.
She also mentions a friend who is learning Russian and is jogging a lot.
That's just her coding it in front of her kids. And he immediately says to that, okay, the tracksuits. That's just a code for him, yeah. And that's also why she speaks in German. Other people are like, oh, she's part of Hydra. And I was like, I think she's trying to be discreet in front of the children.
But
and
the
they don't
kids
speak
know.
German. Well, they figured out immediately. You're talking, Dad. You're speaking in a different language.
Something's going on and Dad's in trouble.
Yeah.
And don't forget the watch. The watch was mentioned.
And the watch was mentioned.
The Rolex.
What's Rolex? Clint's like, I thought you said that was destroyed. And she was like, well, I thought it was. So it's like something going on with her.
I'm wondering.
And there's been a lot of speculation on it too.
What are some of the rumors? I'm just curious. I haven't seen anything.
Mockingbird.
Okay.
And I don't know. There's just a lot of things lining up. I don't know if it's true. She could be Mockingbird. She could be just an ex-SHIELD agent because, how is she getting all this information? What is she doing? It's just like...
I'm wondering if it had something to do, because, in Age of Ultron, when we're first introduced to all of these characters, what's his name? Iron Man sits there and says, yeah, he's like, we were here not even knowing you existed. So I'm wondering if that watch had something to do with, like, maybe that was like the thumb drive or whatever that had the information about Clint's background. And that's why when she went to the apartment to go get the watch, she's like, oh, somebody's been taking notes on your family. Maybe there's something within that watch that kind of...
Or it could have been Laura's.
I thought it was Tony's watch that he used to time travel.
No, that was just a band.
Just throwing out more theories. Something, it's important. And I figured they were just taking notes on him because they captured him. She captured him once. And she thinks he's involved with Ronan. So how do you extract information from people? Well, hold their child hostage or something. Now he'll have to tell me, So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens with Yelena. I mean, she just popped up, started attacking Clint, left.
Yep.
Hey, why did you just leave? Oh, it's the end of the episode. Peace out.
We're out of time right now, so we'll do this again next week.
Why did she just leave? Why attack the guy if you're not going to try and kill him? And if you are trying to kill him, why not use a gun? Like, she had a gun, I know, at one point, but like, why not start with the gun? If you take it by surprise, take it by surprise with the gun with a bullet, and that surprise leaves the person dead.
Because we got to have the TV show needs to happen.
Let's fight. Yeah. But it's just like, I'm an assassin. That's why I'll start punching you and then whip out my gun. It's like, oh, you must be good at your job. I don't know. That just.
So why didn't she kill Kate when she had a few chances to do so?
Well, she has no reason.
Kate's not
to
the target.
To. Yeah. She only wants to kill Clint because she thinks he has something to do with Natasha's death. Which, I mean, he does have something to do with it, but like it's not his fault. He did everything he could to save her. She doesn't know the details. She was just pointed in that direction. It was the Lady Hydra was like, "Hey, here's a picture of Clint Barton. He knew you knew your sister, and now your sister's dead. Why don't you go kill him?" And she was like, "I'll kill him."
No, she said something like, because
she did.
Now I'm wondering.
Point her at him.
I'm wondering why now. How many people actually know? And we had mentioned this before. How many people actually know what Natasha did? Because if I recall right, at the end of Black Widow, I haven't seen it since it first came out, but it was. She said, "How would you like to be there? How would you like to get the man who was there when she died, or something along that lines?" Basically,
yeah.
How would you like to get her killer?
Yeah.
And she gave him Clint. So obviously, people know how or what Natasha did. How and what?
Not necessarily. I mean, because apparently Yelena didn't even know until being shown that. Like,
so
I don't know. It's if she didn't know who was there with her, why would you even know it? Like, because they could just have said she's one of the fallen who died fighting Thanos.
Yeah.
What are they going to say? She gave her soul and life or whatever for the Soul Stone, and then Captain America put it back, and that, well, I don't know if that did anything. He's an old dude now. I guess we could ask him, Cap. Hey, you there, old man.
Old woman, man.
Old woman, man.
I'm 37.
I'm not old. Oh, that guy must be a king.
You could call me Roger.
He hasn't got shit all over him. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Monty
she is
Python.
Lady Hydra, and what better way to try and get rid of at least one of the Avengers?
She's just being nefarious for the sake of being nefarious. Maybe I could take out Hawkeye by just showing a picture to this chick. Now off you get.
And there's also speculation that Lady Hydra is Kate's
Mephisto.
aunt.
Oh, Kate Bishop's aunt. Well, there's always speculation out there. Where do you find these things?
I just find them interesting because when I hear them and then I go back and watch the show and then I do a little research and then I'm like, could be, maybe not. I mean, they're real little hints, but who the hell knows?
But there's some credence though to what Debbie said about that being Lady Hydra on the phone, because Lady Hydra was the one that pointed Yelena to Clint, and she called her, and why wouldn't she have said, "Hey, you're looking for Clint? He's here in New York, and he's headed to such and such place. He's hunting, tracksuit mafia or whatever." And basically, she pointed Lady Hydra and said, "Okay, he's here. Go get him."
There you go. I mean, so there's not actually much more that happens in this episode. They find out that they're robbing Maya's apartment. I don't think they knew that. They just followed the tracker to the watch. And yeah, then that silent alarm goes off and like, oh, it's Maya. And then there's a brief part where everyone's kind of fighting each other. And then there's actually a moment where they replay. So first of all, Hawkeye had that flashback of Natasha's death while he was sitting in that chair. And then he watches Kate Bishop get thrown off the roof, and he's basically too late to save her, but luckily she was just suspended in midair. And she says, "Pull me back up." which is kind of which is what he was trying to do with Natasha, but Natasha made him let her go. And in this, instead of pulling her up, he makes her, or tries to make her leave, because he's trying to save her. And in this instance, he saves her by cutting her loose, which he actually then also tries to do again at the end of the episode by doing the typical, go on, get out of here, get! I don't want you around here anymore. We're not partners. We never were. There's a great scene in Deadpool where he does that. I don't have time for this "Are you my mother" bullcrap.
And also during that scene, they had the music from Vormir playing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very moving. But she doesn't like hearing that. She's been trying to say they're partners. Oh, I forgot about the bit where they very casually convince a cop to take the trick arrows out of evidence. And it's got me really wondering, A, were they just under any security? You stole evidence. Like, does anyone care? Oh, no, it's fine. I'm a cop.
It was like...
They describe it as evidence tampering. It's like, it's for an Avenger. It's like, well, okay, but that same Avenger is probably the guy responsible for that arrow that's in the bridge. Does he want to... Anyone want to shrink that? There's still that giant freaking arrow. Does nobody care about this? He's under... We're trying to arrest him, okay? Like, we're looking for him to arrest him for causing chaos. There's tracksuited bodies riddled with arrows. You know how hard it is to clean up that goo? And they're just like, oh, we got your arrows. They're in this duffel bag. And then there was a joke about that.
Yeah.
Like a stupid throwaway joke. Like, but my wife got me this. But was it just an opportunity for her to say she had a wife? My wife made me this bag. I was like, it's a bag. Is there not another single bag in this entire place, by the way? Like, just take them out of that bag, put them in their bag. What is it? They all have quivers. They're LARPers, for God's sakes. This is the only bag? Why is this even why are we talking about this dang bag? How did you get the arrows back? Show me that scene. You just waltzed in and took them back. Got my bag.
If that happened on the Shield, that would have been an entire episode.
This is a breach.
That would have been a whole
protocol. Lock down the station. People are taking Avengers level stuff out of evidence and just
walking out
I'm
the
a
door
police
with it.
officer. We're all police officers. Let me just get to take shit. Are you nuts? The lack of respect in this place. It was like, okay, so it's like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine squad. That's where it was. These cops are a joke. But yeah, so they get the arrows back and they just start using them again. And there's a line about these are the last arrows. I was like, you don't make your own arrows? Where'd you get those arrows? Shield was giving you the arrows? Apparently. I mean, the Pym particle one, I get that. Like, I get that he didn't necessarily make that, but like a lot of the other ones, like your grappling hook arrow, you don't know how those work. You just pick them up from like the Shield weapons. Hey, we got your arrowheads. You're the only guy that needs them, so here you go. Should be a surplus, right?
You would think
I don't
so.
know. Yeah, who else is? Nobody else uses it. Now there's Kate Bishop. That's the only other person who uses a bow and arrow because hey, guns exist. I know archery's neat, but
we're on an island that's
makes me think of that scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they're like protecting the school and Mac's trying to do it with a sword and Charlie's like, but with a gun, I can just take you out. Bang, bang. He's like, but what if I dodge right and left? And it's like, bang, 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 bang. He's like, wow, you're right. Guns are better. It's like, real disappointment for this episode that we didn't get to see the swordsman do anything. I've been looking forward to seeing him. There's swords everywhere. All right. Katanas on tables, up on the wall. I was like, this is going to be a great place for him to get a fight in. Surrounded by his weapon of choice. No. Mm-mm. Oh, it's you, Archer. Oh. I mean, it was fun for a laugh, but
maybe next episode or two.
Well, they say that, and you know how the internet is, but it's like, oh, the 5th episode is going to break the internet. I'm like, really?
They've said that They've said that for Loki. They've said that for.
They say that about a lot of different things. Yeah,
I've said it for the last couple of shows now.
The only way that would actually be true in this case is if Wilson Fisk is actually going to be in it. People would be jazzed. But also, you got to think, this weekend is Spider-Man coming out, so if they happen same day, could break the internet.
Okay, so Spider-Man comes out Friday. If they put Wilson Fisk in Hawkeye on Wednesday.
In New York City.
In New York City.
Well, and
just
actually,
to tie
though,
everything together.
This takes place, like Hawkeye, whatever, takes place 2 years after this.
Yeah, so 2025, I think. I think it's 2 years after the blip.
And Spider-Man takes off right after.
Pretty closer, yeah.
The last movie. I mean, frame for frame.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, they released like the first minute of the movie.
Oh, I haven't.
And
I didn't want to watch that. I just wanted to go see that. I was like, why are you going to do that?
Well, I mean, it just picks up right where they left off on the Far From Home. So
I'm sorry, I got burned once before on The Force Awakens, and I'm never watching. Oh, look, here's the first minute of the movie. The only time that I've done that since The Force Awakens was we went to Disney World in 2018, and some guy stopped us and said, "Hey, do you guys want to come see The Incredibles 2 before it releases to the theaters?" Like, heck yeah,
yeah, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, correct.
And I went in fully expecting to. Here's the credits, and then never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think we're gonna have Wilson Fisk next episode?
It would be fun, but
yeah, it would be fun.
Uncle
I would be
is
ecstatic. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but
I'm kind of wondering if Wilson Fisk, like I said, or like you said, was the Mephisto of this series. It's you know he's there, and he's in the background, and that's exactly who they're talking about when he says the uncle, and Uncle's gonna come pick you up. You just know. I mean, but
especially given the comic history of the characters that we're talking about,
right.
And how
But it might be one of those things where they're just kind of dangling that little worm in front of you, and it's like, it's there, it's coming, but not yet.
Why would you think that he would be Quicksilver just because he was Quicksilver? What kind of idiot would think that the person who's the person that they are is the person that they are?
I think it'd be interesting if Daredevil just popped in.
Well, everyone's been
speculating that.
And Daredevil about Spider-Man as well.
Yeah, and I know Kevin Feige came out the other day and said, "Hey, he's going to be Daredevil again. We're going to bring him back." Blah blah blah. I don't expect it. I don't expect
it. The quote that he said, because I've seen people posting the news, and they're like, Kevin Feige confirms that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil. And I was like, interesting. He confirmed it. So I read it, and it says, and his words are, if Daredevil were to come back. And I was like, yes, we want Charlie Cox. This is a hypothetical scenario. If he were to come back, that's who we would use. Well, boy, that doesn't sound like a confirmation. It certainly isn't a confirmation that he's going to be in anything immediately. And it could just be him trying to not spoil stuff. That could be part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah, Marvel's been known to do that.
Oh, no, yeah. They make the fake trailers.
They would never do that to the fans. Never.
For instance, the Spider-Man trailer that's got Lizard being punched by thin air, and it's like. Speaking of which, so do you expect to see in Spider-Man? Do you expect to see Spider-Men?
You know what? Honestly, with the lizard being punched by thin air, it wouldn't surprise me if that was Venom. Since we had the Venom, it says, well, why not?
Well, did you see the pictures of like them on the scaffolding with the blue screen behind? Did you ever see those leaked pictures? So. There was leaked pictures, and they say that they're fake, of like Andrew Garfield, and I know at least Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland like on this, and it looks like basically the scaffolding that they're fighting in that last scene. And so a lot of people have taken that, put together with that Brazilian trailer where they let that footage go a little bit longer, and you just see the head kind of get hit by nothing. And people are saying, there's so many memes. It's like, it's John Cena. It's Drax. He's invisible. Yeah, it's like, it's Miles Morales because that Spider-Man could turn invisible. So The memes
mean,
out of it have been great, but the most likely thing is like it's a doctored trailer. Actually, one of my favorite ones was like Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield in the newest trailer, and it's the one where Spider-Man's pointing at each other,
Yeah.
but someone just kind of warped the
mm-hmm.
picture where they're supposed to be standing because they're like digitally removed, and I'm just like, this is so. If anything, like the movie's gonna be great, but the memes and everything surrounding it have just been hilarious. The entire situation. I can't wait to see the movie, but
there might be multiple Spider-Men. They may not be the ones we're expecting since it's a multiverse. It could be totally other ones. Who knows? Will I be excited if Toby and, well, Andrew I could take or leave. But I would be excited. Am I expecting it? No.
My thoughts on this, and I've said this before, is Andrew Garfield has come out and said they're not in it.
Oh yeah, he denies all the time.
Tom Holland even came out and said people are not going to believe that they are not in it until they actually see the movie.
Yeah.
So all the way up until then, and then I see leaked set photos confirms that that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and it's a picture of all three of the Spider-Man suits. It's not not the actors. It's just the suits. It's like all three of these were on the set, and it's like, what doesn't mean anything.
Oh, John Campea also had pictures of the three of them standing next to each other, which Sony made him take down. So that's another one people are saying, oh, that was faked, or it's photoshopped, or those things are photoshopped, they're not real, or blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of like Debbie said, like one way or the other, I don't care. I'm going to enjoy the movie. But if they're in it, that'll be great. If they're not, it's not going to ruin the film for me. The film will stand on its own merits. But if you think about it, it would be it's pretty much a slam dunk to do this. And they should have already been thinking about it. You got to think Across the Spider-Verse came out, the Spider-Verse came out. Across the Spider-Verse
into the
Spider-Verse. Yeah. And that was hugely well received. We had a whole bunch of different versions of Spider-Man interacted with each other. A lot of fun. Everyone enjoyed it. Now you have this movie coming out that's involving the multiverse for the first time since it's been introduced to MCU. You've got Doctor Strange there. You have all the other villains literally played by the same actors from the other movie. And now you're going to tell me, oh no, we decided not to get the Spider-Man from those movies because we're giant fools and we hate money. No, they're not. They're semi-intelligent people that love money, okay? So I see it as like a kind of an obvious marketing choice to try and do something like that. I also think it would be something that they would want to keep secret if they did do it. It's not, that's
so maybe they're paying Holland and Garfield off to throw,
and it's
throw
like that was all part of the marketing ploy. Yeah.
Well, the girl that plays I forgot her name. She-Hulk. She flatly denied being casted as She-Hulk for months until it was announced. So, like I said, I'm not going to be disappointed if they're not in it. I'll be ecstatic if they are, but I'm
so
not.
That's how the MCU's hiding things now. Not only in the trailers are they cutting things out, but they're okay. You guys are going to be in it, but up until the movie comes out, you have to deny vehemently that you are not in it.
Mm-hmm. Deny. They've got pictures of us. Can I just tell them we're in it? No. Say they were photoshopped.
Denial ain't just a river in
Actually,
Egypt.
meanwhile, Tobey Maguire's out there, like in the park. Someone's asking him, "Are you in the new Spider-Man movie?" And he just winks at him and is like, Andrew Garfield's out there slinging F-bombs like, I'm not in the effing movie, all right? And meanwhile, Tobey Maguire's like, maybe. Completely different reactions. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Alrighty. I hope you guys got your tickets. You got your tickets yet? No. That's great. All the theaters around me are like sold out.
Here's the thing is, so Thursday night my wife is working, so I can't go Thursday night. Friday night is our anniversary. Now our anniversary, well, our anniversaries from 2015 until 2019, there has been a Star Wars movie released on or around our anniversary. So it's like she's had it with the geeky anniversary dates. So I've got to do something. I've got anniversary stuff.
I hear you, Spider-Man.
I've got to wine and dine the wife. But so Saturday, she's not working Saturday, and I'm thinking we're going to try and sneak off Saturday afternoon to go see it.
I just looked at my movie theater and they added a time because usually their matinee starts 11:30, 11:40, and they just added a 10:20.
So get those tickets.
Yeah, maybe I'll buy it. Like I said, I wouldn't be going till Saturday morning anyway. So
I'm going Friday night at like 6:00. Blammo. Looking forward to it. I actually don't have anything else for tonight. So unless you guys got more on Hawkeye or something else about Spider-Man or something else you want to bring up, I think we're just about done.
I'll just say something about Laura possibly being Mockingbird.
Okay.
Because there's one part of it I really like. Okay, so married to Clint. This is all in the comics. She was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, huntress for some time. She was an Avenger. Her and Clint led the West Coast Avengers. She worked with Fantastic Four, Moon Knight, U.S. Agent. She didn't work for them. She worked with them or something like that.
We've got all these characters coming up.
Mm-hmm. They also led the Great Lakes Avengers. Evidently, she was an accomplished archer on her own. Athlete, gymnast, martial arts, firearms. Her and Clint were very close before they got married because I guess they were spies in the CIA or something. And she also joined the Secret Avengers. But my favorite part, she was killed by Mephisto.
There's the Mephisto tie.
There you go. There's my
Mephisto confirmed.
That's my connection. So.
6 degrees of Mephisto.
Yeah.
I read that and I was like, ooh. So it's still possible.
So for all you Mephisto heads out there, don't give up hope. Now we've got that cicada and the crane, the heron that was flapping around and what? That was Mephisto. And now Laura is Mockingbird and she had a watch. She's killed by Mephisto in the comics, which they're not necessarily required to stick to.
No, they're not. I just thought it was very interesting.
It's funny and possible. And, the thing that they did with the kids, Wanda we'll probably learn more about this in Multiverse of Madness, but that could absolutely, again, be a Mephisto connection. Like when we were talking about Fisk, we want to see him. We want to see these characters, but just like Thanos was for so long, they like to do that thing where they're in the background.
The shadow characters, yeah.
Guess I'll have to take care of it myself.
Actually, No, that's right. I was gonna say, wasn't the first thing that he said in Guardians? Wasn't that the first time we heard him speak? But it was Age of Ultron.
Well, then when they're like,
no, that
it was the after the credits thing where he's like, to court them is to court death. Well,
he didn't say anything.
Well,
he just turned around and smiled.
Okay, then. Guess I'll have to do this myself then, right? That's when he picks up the glove.
I think so.
Whatever. He's dead now. Well, and so is... Yeah, well, he's dead. I was going to say multiverse. There's...
Multiverse, he's still alive.
Infinite Thanos out there. Although one of them did get sliced in half by Vision.
I was halfway...
Ultron Vision.
I was halfway expecting him to show up back in the Eternals.
I'm not saying that from the ashes of captivity never has a greater Phoenix metaphor been personified in human history.
Bring them all back. It's a big multiverse.
Just keep Tom Cruise out of it.
I think that would be hilarious. Just to piss so many people off. I love it. Do it. Just for like a bit. You know, like a bit part. Like they do with like Matt Damon and stuff like that.
Or
when he was
I don't know, maybe
Thor.
I could see it. Like, do you remember when Tom Cruise was in the third Austin Powers movie and he was playing Austin in the movie within the movie?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if they did something like that to where, you know, they set up this big thing and it looks like, oh my gosh, it's a multiverse and that's Tony Stark and it's Tom Cruise as Tony Stark, and then they pull back and it's like, no, we're just making a movie about Iron Man. It's like, yeah,
Tom Cruise is Iron Man. Yeah. And then you have a picture of actual Robert Downey Jr. You know, it's like Tom Cruise is Iron Man. That would be good. See, that's good. You work for them, they should hire you.
yeah.
Power dampening collar. Shuts down all mutant abilities. You can't get it off unless you've got a grenade.
Huh. Could have used one of those in the first act. They keep a monster in the basement. Right next to a huge steaming bowl of foreshadowing.
This guy, Cable, he's very short, 5'11", not like in the comics. And if we succeed, we all go home early.
So you use a device to slide through time. I got 2 charges, one to get me here, one to get me home.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
Just lazy writing.
Gosh, yeah. That's why sometimes you just enjoy the movie. Don't think about it. Don't get caught up in it, Chris. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
I will be talking for myself. This is an open and shut case, and anybody who can't see that is a savage and an idiot.
Okay. Don't worry about how the last episode ended in a cliffhanger with a sword at his neck, and this one opened with a joke about that, and then this episode ended with a fight ending because it was the end of the episode. I don't know why she left otherwise. What was happening? This episode's over. We just killed enough time. Okay. Episode's 5 gonna be great, guys. See you next week. What?
Are we gonna have a Hamill like Mark Hamill like cameo in the in this next one? It wasn't that the big thing.
You mean just like at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk, he doesn't say anything. End of the.
It'll be White Vision.
White Vision. If you're Vision, why are you white? You can't just ask people why they're white. It's a great meme. I don't have it here though. It's funnier when you actually read the meme. Anyway, that about does it for this week on MCU Mondays. Definitely looking forward to next week's Hawkeye, mostly because, again, some of this week was kind of just like killing time. Yeah. Here's a montage of them getting to know each other. Fight with Yelena. No explanation that ends because the episode was over. But overall, I am enjoying this the show. The episode before this is one of my favorites, with the spinning car chase and the giant arrow thing. So I could see, you need an up and a down thing. So I have no reason not to doubt that the next 2 episodes are going to be like, that's like you have the entire WandaVision, and only when you get to the last bit does 2 visions start shooting lasers at each other. So not every episode is going to have like everything. It's the difference, I guess, between the films and this TV show. I'm sure if I binge watch this at some point, it'd be much more satisfying. I just hate that like cliffhanger of the sword and then come back. It's like, oh, okay. And then, why did you do that? Just for that cliffhanger. Like that's, he just takes the sword. They don't even fight over it. There's swords everywhere. And he just leaves. That guy. Okay. I want to see the swordsman fight too. I'll be honest. I was looking forward to that a lot. Didn't get to see it. I want to see what he can do because he strikes me as a little bit paunchy. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look like he's in super great shape. Swordsman. You guys with me on that? He's kind of. He seems like he's living a life of leisure. I'm not saying he's in bad shape, but he doesn't look like he's suddenly going to put on spandex and start running around the city and curse you, Hawkeye. Nah. With that mustache, he really should be saying things like, nah. If you got that mustache, you pretty much had, and then twirl it. Nah. Oh, man. I'm tying up my wife to a train tracks. foiled again by Hawkeye. Man. And his young ward. I'm your stepdaughter. Okay. Anyway. Black Widow. That's it for us here on MCU Mondays. We'll be back as we always are, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And next week we're going to be talking about Spider-Man. We're going to talk about Hawkeye, the episode that's supposed to break the internet. So we're going to be probably going for a lot longer than we did tonight, and I can't wait. Anyway, see you then.